garbage, but also for the future. And and that came to fulfillment with the BP spill, which was, I don't know how many years ago now, but with the BP spill, we realized that if you do have a spill off the coast, your entire tourism industry, your entire economy is destroyed. And when the BP spill occurred, I think it was maybe off the coast of Texas or Louisiana, but the oil came not only for the entire Gulf Coast, but all around the east coast of Florida. So this isn't just, a spill. If it occurred off the coast of New Jersey, wouldn't just affect New Jersey. It would probably affect everything from Maine, or maybe even Canada, from Maine to Florida, right? And the bottom line is that there's not that much out there. I mean, the oil companies still want to drill wherever they can, but there's not that much of a reserve out there compared to, just from an economic point of view, compared to the devastation that would occur to the economy as a result of the spill. So for the last, I don't know, it's over 30 years, we've been trying to prevent drilling in various ways. First, in the first 10 or 15 years, I worked with a lot of the groups here to try to have an annual moratorium. We put it in the appropriation or spending bill or the budget that there could be no drilling off the coast of the Atlantic. And then we started, I don't know how many years ago, with these 5-year plans where the Interior Department would issue a 5-year plan for where drilling would be allowed. And we would fight every 5 years to get the Atlantic banned as part of that 5-year plan, which exists now too, right? I think it just started, last year, and it goes until 2029. So that's in effect. But as you can tell just from what I'm saying, there's nothing permanent about this, right? Either put it in an annual basis, you have a 5-year plan, but all those things are not permanent and can be lifted by a future president, right? And I'm trying to be good today, but I'm not going to be too good, believe me. And so the thing that's wonderful about this is that it is permanent, right? And some people will say, well, what do you mean permanent? Well, I have no reason to believe, and if some of you want to talk about it, we can, that it would be possible for the new administration to reverse this, even though President Trump has said that he wants to. I don't think it's possible to do it either legally or politically, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And if you want to talk about that, we can. But I don't want to keep talking all day, but I wanted to say a few things about why this is important. Obviously, it's important for the reasons I said. Our local economy is so dependent on tourism. Look at how beautiful it is today, even in January, right? Whether you're a business leader, whether you're a mayor, whatever you are, you understand that from an economic point of view, it makes no sense to have drilling off the coast. So we've had, I think we had 400 towns, over 2,300 elected local, state, tribal, and federal officials across the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Gulf Coast that have formally opposed any expansion of offshore drilling into these areas. The other thing that after the BP spill, there was a commission. And again, I may be getting into the weeds, and maybe not everybody wants to hear it. But what the commission said was that the BP spill was in deeper waters, and that deeper waters and traditionally the drilling that took place in the Gulf, right? And they said emphatically that the technology did not exist to safeguard and prevent a spill in the future in the deeper waters. And what we're talking about here with the Outer Continental Shelf is probably even further out and in deeper waters than what happened with the BP. And that's still true today. The technology, if you honestly ask Exxon or any of the oil companies whether they can prevent a spill in those deep waters, the answer is no. And if they tell you yes, then they're just lying to you because they know that that's simply not the case. The other thing, and I'm not proud of it, is that we are producing more oil and gas today than ever in the history of the country. For the last 6 years, the amount of oil and gas that's been produced in the United States has been a record historically by any country, any time in the history of the planet, right? Now, Whether you think that's good or bad is another issue. But anybody who says, oh, we need this oil and gas, for national security, whatever, it's just not true. The level of proven resources is, I think, maybe a few weeks of production, if you look at the world, or maybe a month or so. How do you, if you're looking at a cost-benefit analysis strictly, not just as an environmentalist, how do you justify that given the billions and billions of dollars in tourism industry? So I'm going to stop at that because we've got a lot of speakers, but if you have any questions or you want to have a little discussion, we can. The reason, I'll say this, the reason I don't believe this can be overturned is as follows. There's a congressional procedure called the Congressional CRA, I forget what it stands for, Congressional Review Act, and some people have cited that the Congress could use that to overturn this. It doesn't apply to executive orders, only to into rulemaking by agencies. This is not a rulemaking, so it doesn't apply. Some people have said, well, Trump will go to the courts. Well, he tried that before, and it didn't work. And then some people say, well, okay, well, Congress will just pass an act repealing the Outer Continental Shelf Act, right? Because this is done under 12B of the Outer Continental Shelf Act. But I don't believe the votes are there. I mean, first of all, in the House, the Republicans only have a majority of 2, or maybe it'll be less in the next few weeks. There's at least a couple dozen Republicans in coastal areas who've spoken out against this, and I believe if they ever were to support drilling off their coast, would lose their election. So I don't see it. I just don't. But it doesn't mean we always have to be vigilant. Everyone here knows, as an elected official and environmentalist, you have to be vigilant. And the unfortunate thing is, and now I am going to be partisan, that we have a president who's going to be inaugurated on January 20th who doesn't seem to care at all about the environment, doesn't seem to care, just keeps the mantra, drill, baby, drill. And so, we do have to be vigilant. But this is a major step forward, I think, in permanently banning offshore oil and gas. So I've spoken enough. All right, I'm going to ask John Weber, who's the senior field representative of the Mid-Atlantic for Oceana, to come up. Now, I will tell you, I've been working on this for years, so has John, so have so many of us. But in the last 6 months, we stepped this up, particularly in the last couple months, because we knew that Trump was going to be the next president. And Oceana, I sent letters, we gathered, we tried to convince the Biden administration to do this. And Oceana, that he represents, was a major factor in this. So I do want to mention that, John. Come on up.
Thank you, Congressman. It's a party to me. I don't care if there's no food or drinks. And I have to say, we have come a long way, because somebody pointed out to me that we used to have these press conferences outside in January. So I don't know if it's because we won or whatever. So, this, again, John Weber from Oceana, this announcement of permanent protections from offshore drilling is a historic day for New Jersey and for the whole United States. As the congressman said, oil and gas drilling puts our coastal communities at risk, and the millions of people who live, work, visit our cherished coast, they depend on a healthy ocean. Oceana thanks President Biden and congressional champs like Representative Pallone for fighting to protect our coast from dangerous and deadly oil drilling and spilling. I can't say it enough. Oceana is really profoundly grateful to President Biden for this action and to similar actions by previous presidents. But obviously the size and the scope of this it just dwarfs previous withdrawals from drilling. So, like a lot of people in this room, and myself personally, it's not an exaggeration to say that we've worked on this for 20 or 25 years. It makes this victory even sweeter. In Oceana, we had a congratulatory meeting on Tuesday. Of course, it was a Zoom meeting, and but I got to hear some of the history on this, and I'm proud to say that Oceana has never, ever once wavered from our belief that offshore oil drilling was wrong and unacceptable. I heard stories about from the second Bush administration when some organizations were kind of giving up, saying, well, the offshore drilling, we're just not going to win on that one. But as I say, Oceana and people in this room never wavered, and that has made all the difference. I'm on what we call the field team at Oceana, and the field team was created because of this issue. Once we realized that, getting coastal communities to pass resolutions against offshore oil drilling, that would have an effect on members of Congress and the administration at the time. It worked. I mean, everybody here participated. We have towns that passed resolutions in the House. Oceana kept the map of all the towns that did this, and quite frankly, I worked for a different group at the time, and we would always reference that map, like who's on the list, what towns what towns don't we have? It's still on our website, the hundreds of municipalities, like the Congressman said, chambers of commerce's, homeowners association, and whatnot. I just want everybody to think about Asbury Park. We're in Asbury Park, it's fantastic, but 20, 25 years ago, just to be honest, it wasn't like this, okay? I'm going to paraphrase a guy named Bruce Springsteen. There's a little concert called See Here Now. It happened over here a few months ago. And he was talking about the old times when there's nobody on the boardwalk and nobody on the beach and nobody on Ocean Avenue and nobody on Cookman Avenue. And then he said, and I'm, again, going to paraphrase and clean it up a little bit. He said, where did all these people come from? Well, certainly the town did a fantastic redevelopment, Councilwoman, nod to the Councilwoman. They created amenities and venues and events and restaurants and businesses that we all want to come to. And so we all here now. But I have to say this would not have happened if there was drilling and spilling out there. People would not have come. This place wouldn't look like it looks. And you have to multiply that by hundreds and hundreds of towns up and down the East Coast. Then you get a sense of the size of the economies we're talking about, the livelihoods, the tourism and all that. One last thing, and I hope other people say something along these lines, but we are going to defend this. We are going to defend this with everything we have. Everybody in this room is going to do the same thing, and we're going to keep and make this victory permanent. Thanks very much.
Our next speaker is from the New Jersey Sierra Club. And of course, I don't know, I'm old-fashioned. I think of the Sierra Club. I always think of down to like 300 or something. And if you look at the BP spill, the negative impact on wetlands, on wildlife in the Gulf and the Gulf towns was just devastating. So we have Taylor McFarland here from the New Jersey Sierra Club.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. We are honored to join Congressman Pallone and our environmental partners today to celebrate this monumental milestone in our state's environmental history. My name is Taylor McFarland again. I'm the Conservation Program Manager for the New Jersey Sierra Club. The New Jersey chapter has been a longtime advocate for protecting the Jersey Shore and Atlantic coast from offshore oil and gas threats. And nationally, Sierra Club has been in the trenches for all our waters, even off the coast of Alaska. Offshore drilling should be our past, not our future, especially when the situation is so dire. Can we all just take a moment and look at what's happening in Los Angeles? Scientists in the EU and the UK have already found that last year was the hottest year on record, breaching the climate change limit sought by the Paris Agreement. And 2024 was also the first year to surpass the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit. President Biden's federal protections from offshore drilling secure a safe, fossil-free future for New Jersey shoreline and beaches for the next generations to enjoy. The Jersey Shore is embedded in the culture of our communities and really is an invaluable natural resource environmentally and economically. Thanks to these protections and the decades of work and organizing from activists, our ocean, our wildlife, and the residents will be free from the threat of dirty offshore drilling. We have been standing up against offshore drilling and seismic testing for decades, and we will continue to do so across the country to protect our coastal communities and our wildlife. We are really grateful and proud of all the countless rallies, the Hands Across the Sand events we've had held with the congressmen and our environmental allies here. The Sierra Club thanks President Biden and Congressman Pallone for the leadership and incredible commitment to protecting our waters and moving us forward into a future of clean, renewable energy. This is what bold environmental and climate action looks like. Thank you.
All right, next we have Clean Ocean Action. How many years is it? 40 or 50? 40. Yeah, so I shouldn't admit it, but I'm close to being involved I have been involved for the 40 years. And of course, Clean Ocean Action really was, maybe not started in 1988 when I first introduced the bill to ban offshore oil and drilling, but they were very much involved in that effort then and continue to be. So today we have Carrie Martin from Clean Ocean Action. Come on up.
Thank you, Congressman. Hi, my name is Kari Martin. I'm the Management and Operations Director for Clean Ocean Action. Unfortunately, Cindy Zip, our Executive Director, is out of town today, but she sent a statement for me to read today at this celebration. And it reads, quote, "Today is a monumental victory for the ocean. For over 40 years, Clean Ocean Action led New Jerseyans from all walks of life to call for an end to offshore drilling. And earlier this week, with a stroke of President Biden's pen, it is done. This marks a day we can finally retire all of our heartbreaking photos and posters highlighting the horrific impacts of offshore drilling from years and years of campaigns. Waves of gratitude to Representative Frank Pallone for his leadership in opposition to offshore drilling over the past 4 decades, as well as for the near unanimous, unwavering, bipartisan support of the entire federal and state New Jersey delegations. At the heart of this are the thousands of citizens and groups who rallied and raised their voices to the call for the ocean, because oil and water can never mix. To ensure this extraordinary victory sticks for the ocean and all she supports, thriving marine life, healthy climate, improved quality of life, and clean ocean economies, Clean Ocean Action will be hosting events and actions to celebrate and lock in the support for the ban. We must never go back to sloppy and harmful industrial offshore oil and gas drilling." End quote. Thank you again, Congressman, and to the groups and the businesses and communities that all worked so hard to get us to this victory. Thank you.
The Clean Ocean Action will probably have some food and beverage when they celebrate. Because I remember when you had your event here, there was a lot of food and a nice buffet. All right. Next, I have Ed Potasnik, Executive Director of New Jersey League of Conservation Voters. Obviously, they have prioritized this as well. Thank you, Ed.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ed Potasnik with New Jersey LCV. We're the political voice for the environment. And it is a great day. It is a celebration. I did see wine bottles there. I'm just waiting for glasses. Evidently, they're not ours, but I'm not sure they're counting. So, that may be for later. But what I will say is it's clear that all of us love the shore. It's clear that Congressman Pallone loves the shore. And it's clear that President Biden loves the shore. With this action to protect the New Jersey coast from offshore oil and gas drilling, we're going to make sure that future generations can inherit what is a gem in our community and in our state. It's an economic engine, and it has so many cherished memories for so many of us, and we have to ensure that into the future. I want to reflect a little another celebration, which is this year, a bald eagle was removed from the endangered species list. And I think that's interesting because humans actually were killing the bald eagle with a bunch of chemicals. And we decided, look, we can do something about it. We can actually ban the use of those chemicals and bring back a species. We have the same opportunity with fossil fuels and offshore oil rigs to move away from them to clean alternatives. And it's really critical because climate change is threatening every community, particularly our coastal communities, because of the flooding and the intense storms, the extraction activities, which we're going to be protected from now, but also into the future. It's the greatest threat to our ocean and our marine life. And it's also responsible, the ocean, for producing the oxygen that we breathe, much of it. So it's really important that symbiotically we continue to work and protect those areas. I don't have to go through all the risks of oil and gas drilling to all the folks that are here, but needless to say, today is a great day for the people of New Jersey and for all of our children and grandchildren and their children. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the leadership of many of the folks standing behind me, the environmental groups, the elected leaders, Congressman Pallone himself, who is a dogged, tenacious advocate, and of course, President Biden, who took an action that is so critical for our families. And we're just very grateful and look forward to continuing to celebrate. Thank you.
I'm going to bring up Tim from the American Literal Society. I remember after just prolonging all this, but after the BP spill, what is it, Dawn? Is that the detergent? They still advertise that they clean, they wiped off the wings of the birds and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure it works to some extent, but I would much prefer if the birds did not have to face that because a lot of them died as well. So Tim Dillinghouse, Executive Director of the American Little Society.
All right, Tim.
This really is a tremendous day. I was just thinking how many times we've stood with this backdrop and made the argument about what the public, not the oil companies, but the public values about the ocean, right? Clean water, the economies that are based on that, the wildlife that enriches our lives, and just the opportunity to live free from the threats to our health and to our futures that oil drilling poses. Because absolutely, where we drill, we spill, and that's undeniable. And I had to laugh, Congressman, your comment about if you could get the oil companies to honestly tell you whether or not they can control an oil spill. I think the BP spill show that that's not true. So today, I mean, it's been a long fight. Excuse me. All the threats in the mid '80s, which are the most unfortunate and perhaps the most horrifying, were the dead dolphins coming up on the shore as a consequence of pollution. The American Littoral Society had a ocean dumping task force, which many of the folks here were involved in, brought together the voices to say that what we wanted from our ocean were clean water jobs, productive and healthy wildlife populations. So today, President Biden's executive order embodies that vision of what the public values in the ocean and locks it into law. I mean, we fought a sort of a guerrilla war over the last 30 years, if not 40 years, very similar to the American Revolution, right? On one side, you have the oil companies and the bazillions of dollars that they have to bring to propaganda and to influencing politicians with much less of a conscience than Congressman Pallone to go their way. And we've done that, by whatever tool was available, whether it was the 5-year plans or whether it was temporary moratoriums. But today, this permanent expression of how we want our ocean to be, right, clean and drilling free, is really the penultimate battle. We will still have to defend it, no doubt, right? The man that's going to step into the White House in 10 days, his first response was, drill, baby, drill, right? So he does not get it. He doesn't understand it. I agree with the congressman that we have a lot of political allies on our side, on both sides of the aisle, because folks have come to recognize, because of the horrors of the BP spill and others, just what is at risk. So, Congressman, you and I stood here lots of times. Hopefully we can do, we'll be together around less defensive things in the future. We have to respond to climate. We have to rebuild the shoreline. We have to increase the resiliency of our communities that are going to deal with the impacts of climate change. So there's work to be done, and hopefully we can relegate this one, this desire to open up our oceans to oil drilling and exploitative profit taking to the ash heap of history, as someone once said. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we have one more environmental group, and then we're going to get to our elected officials. And that is from the Jersey Shore Partnership. Grace Hanlon is Executive Director.
Thank you. I'm Grace Hanlon, Executive Director of the Jersey Shore Partnership. Great day for New Jersey overall. Protecting our shoreline is a mission close to my heart personally and professionally. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my predecessor, Margot Walsh, because I know before my time she stood with you for many years, and that the partnership has been by your side and the side of all these wonderful environmentalists behind me, who I'm just so incredibly proud to be a part of. We live in, I think, one of the greatest states in the country. We have one of the most beautiful shorelines, and protecting it is something that is we can never take our foot off the gas pedal on. And Congressman, I cannot thank you enough for all of your support. We thank President Biden for passing this bill to protect our beautiful ocean, its habitat, and all of the infrastructure that, is built because of having this vibrant tourism economy. It's all comes together beautifully. So thank you, and we will continue to fight the fight with you, whatever you need. Take care. Thank you.
Frank, I'm representing Environmental Group today.
Oh, I thought you were here for Red Bank.
So Clean Water Action.
Oh, all right. So then I'm going to have Ben. Ben is one of the one of the elected officials who represents environmental groups as well. But I didn't know he was here in that capacity. So Ben is a councilman in Red Bank, and he's here representing Clean Water Action. Good.
I'm here in the capacity as a board member of Clean Water Action of New Jersey. We fight to protect the Jersey Shore from the ravages of pollution, and oil and gas drilling are never ending. And Frank, your leadership here has just been amazing, as well as President Biden's. Clean Water Action is thrilled to celebrate the victory for generations, a permanent lockbox on drilling as we press on ever forward to advance offshore wind and other energy alternatives, Frank. And yes, I am a Red Bank resident, I'm a councilman, but I am here as a proud board member of Clean Water Action, which is a national environmental group, and it's been amazing to be part of this whole campaign for the last 30 years. And thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all the Clean Water Action has done on this issue as well. We really appreciate it. Okay, so I'd like each of the elected officials to say a few words. I'm not forcing them to. I know better than that. Let's see. Well, we'll start with the mayors. I have Mayor Lori I always get it right, even though I was there for the swearing in. Lori Hohenleitner from Atlantic Highlands.
And clearly I came dressed to speak on camera. I want to thank the congressman and all these folks behind me. Most of them were friends before I was elected, and all of them are friends now. But a couple things. I'm going to get emotional because we're literally in the, this. I grew up in West Allenhurst, which is just across the lake. And to see what's happened, Councilwoman Clayton, in Asbury Park, that's a generation, and that was generation supported by Congressman Pallone. See? I didn't get into politics because of politics. I got into politics because of the good people in government, and Congressman Pallone is one of them. And just the amount of work and the diligence that he has had in making sure that today is possible is something generational. And I want to thank, I see Sylvia over there. Our educators made me a 13-year-old when Congressman Pallone became congressman in the Ocean Township School District. I was aware of what needed to be done for the environment, and it was because educators and our good people in government decided to run and become elected to make a difference. So that's the tradition that I come from, and that's the tradition that's coming after us. And sorry, Fred, you have to follow that.
All right, now we have the Mayor of Aberdeen, who's also been around for a long time. Am I allowed to say? Fred Tagliarini.
And we do have some stories, don't we, of campaigning. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is thank the President and our congressmen and all you fantastic environmental groups and our relationship with Clean Ocean and our beach suite. But maybe some of you don't realize that as Aberdeen is the gateway to Monmouth County, we have a beach. It may not be one of the popular beaches as we have here in Asbury. We have a fishing beach. And the way we are tackling our beach, and Congressman will have to talk some more at a later date, we're actually getting involved now with protecting our shoreline in Aberdeen through the Corps of Engineers and Monmouth University grants, and we've taken on a $6 million project in Aberdeen to rekindle our shoreline and protect our infrastructure. So I can't tell you how important today is for us to take on a project of that magnitude and then have it be destroyed by drilling. So when we heard what the President has done and Congressman Pallone your record speaks for itself and our relationship that we've had. It makes us feel good to now proceed faster than we want to do everything that we have to do in Aberdeen to protect our shoreline. So I thank you, sir, very much for our great relationship. We'll tell the bleach story some other day. The Cliffwood story? That's a great story, but we'll save that for another day. But that just shows the relationship we all have. We've all known each other a long time, as the Congressman has said, but we're so proud to be part of this group. And thank everyone here today for everything you're doing. So thank you so very much. Have a great day.
So in case you didn't know, the beach in Aberdeen is Cliffwood, right? Between Old Bridge and Keyport, right? Essentially. People don't know it.
I've been to that beach.
People don't know it. All right. All right, next is new mayor. Well, not first time new mayor, but new mayor as of January 1st from Neptune, Rob Lane, which also includes Ocean Grove. We have to mention that.
I just want to thank everyone for being here. Before I was elected, I was a resident of the shore for, I'll say it, 60 years. And I want to thank all these people behind me for this. Yes, I pleasure to be the mayor of Neptune, and part of it is Ocean Grove, our historic area, and we had that lovely beach. And I always think, when you go away, I go away, travel a lot, but I can't wait to come back to the Jersey Shore. And I realized in my career, the more you do things repetitive, things are bound to happen, good or bad, and to stop it in its tracks, not to have the drilling, so we'll never have a chance to go good or bad for all the businesses and the community and the wildlife out there. It's the same thing. It's nice that we say, no, that's it, no. This is our Jersey Shore. We want everyone from from Maine down to Florida to enjoy it, enjoy everything from it. And I want to thank the President of the United States and Frank Pallone for that. Thank you.
And now from our host community, I think when we've had Yvonne, I think that when we've had these events to highlight that we don't want offshore oil and gas, most of them have been in Asbury Park. So thank you so much. Come on, Yvonne Clayton is the councilwoman.
Good morning. I'm here representing our mayor, John Moore. And if he was here, the first thing he would say is, greetings from Asbury Park. Hey. Look at our beautiful, pristine ocean. It is so beautiful, and today is a glorious day. We are so grateful and we are thankful because this is our life's blood. This is our golden goose. If we kill it, we kill our economy. This is so important to Asbury Park and all of our shore communities. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to our president. Thank you to all of you who for years, this didn't just start today, for years have been fighting the fight. I can't thank you enough. That's it.
Oh, I think last but not least is a new councilwoman from the southernmost town that I represent, Bradley Beach, and that's Shanna Greenblatt.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really pleased to be here. I'm a new councilwoman for Bradley Beach, which is about less than a mile south of here. So this beautiful view is something that we share. So like everyone else, we really have a vested interest in this. I'm here to share some words from our new mayor, Mayor Al Gubitosi, and I'm really pleased to be here and to honor the tenacity of Congressman Pallone, all the work that he's done, all of the groups here, and of course the courage of President Biden to put environment over politics. So here's my message that I'm sharing from Mayor Al Gubitosi. Bradley Beach is excited to learn that President Biden has permanently banned offshore oil and gas drilling off the Jersey coast, which will clearly protect our beautiful beaches and our environment. An oil spill could devastate marine life, our beaches, and our economy for many years to come. I wholeheartedly agree with the resolution passed by our Bradley Beach Council in 2018 that opposed offshore drilling, and I'm thrilled to see this ban become a reality. I believe this is a major victory for Bradley Beach, the state of New Jersey, and for our country. Thank you, everyone.
Now, I forgot, but I do want to mention him. I think he doesn't want to speak, but I did want to mention that Paul DeMen is here from Monmouth University, and they have the Urban Coastal Institute that has also been very valuable for our where's Paul? He's over there. He said he didn't want to speak. All right. At the non-existent bar. Does anybody else, did I miss any other elected officials or environmental group? No? All right. Anybody have any questions? Any of us or, I mean, you've been here a while, but if you want to have a discussion or any of the media? No? Oh, yeah, go ahead. I figured you had to ask something. Go ahead.
Is the incoming president capable of doing an executive order that cancels out this executive order?
Well, my understanding is as follows. The answer is no, okay? He tried to do that in his first term, and in an area that was designated by President Obama for a permanent ban in Alaska. And the district court in Alaska, the federal district court, issued a ruling that that said it wasn't possible for him to do that because it was a permanent ban under the Outer Continental Shelf Act, Section 12B. He could try, and you might say, well, that was only a district court ruling, but he had the opportunity to appeal it to the Circuit Court and the Supreme Court, and legal scholars or whatever you want to call it, people within his own Justice Department told him that that would not be successful because of the way the opinion read. Okay, so my opinion and the opinion of most people is that he doesn't have the right to do it. If he did it, we would immediately go to court, and he would lose. But I guess everything, and I hate to say it, but the courts are also. I mean, I don't like to admit it, but it's true that the Supreme Court is increasingly political, right? And the bottom line is that I think every one of the governors that are in states where this ban is taking effect. Most of them are Republican, right? And they've come out for the ban. And so has, a lot of the senators in those states, particularly in Florida, where he lives now, Trump, and about 24 or so Republican representatives in those states. And they're concerned that they don't want it overturned because it would hurt them politically. Some of the Republicans in some of those states actually ran on platforms that were specific to the fact that they would support a ban. So I think that for all those reasons, this is it. But as many of the environmental representatives, John in particular, said here, we're fully prepared to defend this. But I do think we wouldn't be here celebrating this and saying how significant it was if we thought it could just be overturned, on after the inauguration. So, sure. All right. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Mary Beth Thompson and Congressman.
I know you, Mary Beth. We won't say how long you've been here. Go ahead.
And I just want to say on behalf of my husband Scott, son Tyler, and all of our extended family, and my sister-in-law is here too, and all of our grandchildren, everybody, this is just an amazing accomplishment. And the work, having worked at Clean Ocean Action for over 30 years, I understand all the work that goes into making this